resurrections. I'm Xavier, and you're watching the Rez TKF podcast. Today we have a special guest who's going to tell us all about the Bloodgames. So let's kick back and enjoy the show.
I guess you're interviewing Mike, and then Goblin's going to be off in the background. It's been a lot of time dedicated to game dev right now. Been working on the Fish Tank reality TV simulator game.
Dude, that's exciting, bro. That's exciting. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You feeling good, man? Got your drink, got your everything. Feeling nice and loose and limber.
That's awesome. Yeah. I saw the interview you did with Xavier the other day, and I was really enjoying it. It's awesome that he was committed. You guys went for like an hour, right?
Oh yeah, we went for like almost 2 hours on the first one, and then the second one was like goddamn about 3 hours or so, which was cool because we wanted to make sure part 2 was gonna pop off for everybody. And then we had the little like Xavier thing, like his little acolyte, and so I wanted to make it fun, like an anime character who's like, oh, he's my master, and DJ's inferior, I can be his #1 acolyte, like some kind of shit like that. But I'm glad he ran with it, and he had a lot of fun with it. Man, I do appreciate you checking it out, bro. Like, everybody said nothing but great things about you. Like, bro, everybody loves them some Mike the Goblin, bro. Like, you are a champion among the people.
I didn't even, I appreciate it. I'm very grateful, honestly. I haven't caught up with a few of them in a while, so I'm glad I left a good impact,
You have like fun like Chris Lynch with them, but you get them in line like Jet. Funnel them into where they need to go, give them the proper direction as a director, and you can like guide their for lack of a better term, their sometimes. You're able to like pinpoint that to a good direction. So kudos to you, bro. You're a wonderful addition there, and I hope that they keep bringing you back.
That is really spectacular, man. I appreciate you saying that. That's like, honestly, like I try not to I mean, I haven't talked too much about the Bloodgames stuff since it ended, more because I've been trying to like lock in on this game stuff because it's a lot. Like, I'm fried all the time because I'm like, all my bandwidth goes to it. But to hear that, especially from the distance of like just time, since we've done it, it makes me really happy to hear it, and I'm glad you enjoyed it because I care a lot about it. So
I'm gonna say this right now, and this is not knocking any other season. Bloodgames is my #1 favorite. Like, I love. Now season 1 of course gets that special treatment by all of us. I feel. I'm sure you feel the same way because it was the start. Yeah, hell yeah, bro. I love that shirt. Yeah, season 1 was the start. The start of this whole journey. So it was such I think a core memory for all of us. But yeah, right there with season 1, I would put Bloodgames for sure.
Thank you, brother. That means a whole lot to me. That's really, really special. Thank you.
Everybody hide your gold coins, hide your mead, hide your women, because we have none other than Mike the Green Goblin of Fishtank.Live All-Stars Bloodgames. Mike, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing all right, Rez. Everything's going well. How about you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. We are more than anxious to know. What have you been up to since the last Bloodgames, man?
Since the last Bloodgames, I've been working on a video game for Fishtank.Live. It's called Fish Tank Reality TV Simulator, and it's coming along pretty nicely. We have a small team working on it, but we've been going at it every day, and it's completely fried me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm done.
Man, I know video editing is one thing. Video editing, sometimes I wish I had a hyperbolic time chamber to do things. Time goes by fast, it fries your brain. But now video game editing, or I don't know if that's the word for it, programming, I guess you would call that.
It would be general like video game development, just everything when it comes to like visuals or programming, or pretty much it's all a big mess. So it's good though. It's fun.
There's a lot of streams nowadays, but there's nothing quite like FISHTANK.Live. FISHTANK.Live is a scuffed reality show made by the internet notorious Sam Hyde. When I first saw this show, it was like nothing I'd ever seen before. And even better, now they have a video game out. It's the FISHTANK.Live Reality Show Simulator. You're the hit producer of a live stream reality show, and it's up to you to make sure your talent delivers the best possible content for the audience. But there's a catch. The audience can send TTS to mess with the fish and throw them off their game, and even make the fish totally crash out. It's not easy running a 24/7 reality show that's live streamed to the world, but this is a whole new level of putting yourself in the production's shoes. Buy beer for the fish and get them hype, and maybe even let them yap your ears off, all to make sure the house doesn't go completely to shit. And no scat play, please. And on top of that, make sure you don't go completely f***ing insane yourself. Your sanity meter is constantly being drained, and if you don't chug an energy drink or get some zip in you quick, you'll see red and the audience will bail. Then show's over, and it's back to gooning in your parents' basement. So if you want to keep living in a basement of your own, you better give the people a great season. It's a damn good time, and I'd rate the game 5 out of 5 Virgils. Now back to the Rez TKF podcast.
Half of our religion is just tricking God.
The pain! You know, I feel like a mouse. You know, if you like flash the light on them, they're just like it just freeze.
Oh yeah, no man, no, you're good, brother. You're good. No, we're excellent. Like,
so since the Bloodgames ended, the Goblin and I moved in together. He's working out over there. Long story short, I've been working with a small team on a video game called Fishtank Reality TV Simulator, and it's essentially a game about running the show yourself. That was kind of the big statement for us was, you know, everybody thinks that they could run the show their way and they could do it perfectly. You know, everyone says, I would have kept this person on, or, you know, I would have done things with this challenge instead. Yeah. And now we're going to give the player a chance to do that.
Okay. You're going to give them a chance to test their mettle and put their money where their mouth is right there, huh?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
We'll see how hard it is just to run a show.
Yeah, you know, maybe you all will see how difficult it is to be the guy that, you know, ran up the stairs and couldn't stop breathing like Vance, you know, and then getting grilled by everybody. And then just like Vance, with the crazy cake dropping incident, how do you think he dealt with that? That man is still traumatized from that shit. So see how you carry a cake and breathe up the stairs.
You should be giving him a medal, man. I think about that every day. That traumatized me.
Yeah,
I saw that happen to Vance.
So tell me, man, we have to know, what is a week like for you, man? Like, what do you do when you're not doing Fish Tank, when you're not in the world of Schitty and in the Bloodgames and dealing with goldfish coins being stolen and hidden away and buried by John? Yeah, we heard about his embezzlement. You know, like what is a week like for you in your downtime, man?
Right now, I'm currently in full stages of development. We're like going full steam ahead, and for that, it's essentially I wake up around 8. I get my programmer up, I get my technical artist up, and we just go until our eyes bleed. Damn. It's pretty bad.
Damn, balls to the wall editing full time like that, huh?
Video game development is pretty rough. Honestly though, it's extremely fulfilling, and I'm having a great time doing it. And the subject matter itself is, you know, something that I hold dear to my heart. So yeah, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
With this game that you're making, and you're saying you're giving people a chance to kind of like run the show, what kind of game are we talking? Are we talking about a builder like Minecraft? Some kind of shooter, or like, you know, how would this game, what type of game are we talking about? Is this like horror, sci-fi?
So it is, I would say it's an evil simulator. So essentially what you have to do is you have to run the show. It's a first-person game. You are doing things like managing challenges. You're checking on the moods of the fish. You're manipulating them by interacting with them and commanding them to do things. And you're essentially trying to run a successful TV show and business. And the big thing about it is every week you have to give Gold Striker your financial goals, and you have to make sure your audience is growing to a certain degree. And if you don't, he kills you. So the way that we're doing it is we're going to have the original cast of Fish for season 1, and we're going to have you be able to run it like a sandbox. And the days are passing. You have 42 days. It's a live show, so things are happening in real time for the most part. I mean, you'll have breaks. There will be things that you can do to kind of catch your breath and manage things and move things around. But
give the fish a bunch of pizza.
yeah. There's definitely things like vibe restoration. A lot. We're trying to kind of create our own genre when it comes to this, because we're trying to imitate the likeness of the show. And the cool thing about it is by doing that, we're blending a lot of elements from different games into like a really unique experience, you know. And we're gonna have some wacky stuff in there too. But essentially, what you're doing is you're in the shoes of Jet, and you're trying to just make sure that the show is constantly entertaining. You're building up fans and haters of the fish, and then the audience will kind of take on a brain of its own, and it becomes kind of like the game's director. So, you know, if you get Josie's fans up high, they want to only see good things happen to her, and that might cut into your plans. You know, if you want to have a hell house and everybody loves Josie, then you got to be nice to her.
Yeah. So chat interaction is a vital part of this as well.
Yeah, I would say the general play style between the player and the audience is essentially like they're going to be watching over the fish, and they're going to be compelling you to act for or against them, and then they're also going to be encouraging or damaging the fish's psyche. So they're going to be sending TTS their way, making them feel empowered, or small, but making them feel
Each
real
one
small.
has like a morale meter, basically, like back at camp.
Yeah, it's like a good karma or bad karma.
Okay, yeah, like Fallout. You know, it also makes me think of like Sims as well. You know what I mean? Like, or it's like settlement building of Sims, like just a crazy scuffed style mixing vampires.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's definitely an evil Sims is a way that people have described it.
Oh fuck
and
yeah.
That's what we're trying to do to a degree. We're trying to make the fish seem responsive, and obviously we want to make sure the player has power.
Yeah.
So they're going to be it's not going to be as complex as, let's say, running a real life person, but I think it'll be enjoyable because you're essentially doing in a shorter revolutions what happened over the span of days on the show. You have to go there, up to them, you do things with them, you get them encouraged, and then you say, hey, why don't you go steal John's Bible?
Like, okay, Moro's morale is down. You give him a bottle of liquor, but because you gave him a bottle of liquor, he's mouthing off and arguing with the house, which is bothering Josie, flaming up John, which is making him do bad things and ruining the set, and all that ripple of, and then Josie, because she's freaking out from the altercation, her fans are pissed. So all that, wow, that's a lot of shit there. No wonder y'all's brains are fried right now.
Yeah. What I do right now is I am a glorified librarian. Like I'm going through files, and I'm essentially assembling it where we create a lot of conditions where things may unfold. So I'm creating like interactions. If you give someone glasses, like sunglasses, they'll be cool. And if they have like a cool trait, then they'll be less. They'll be more impervious to psychic attacks. Let's just say, like, if someone goes up to them and shit talks them, they're just gonna like mog them because they have the sunglasses on. Or if you put a dunce cap on them, they may be more prone to be stupid and do things that might damage the house. We're trying to create a lot of simple moving parts so that everything kind of feels fluid and fun. And it's not so much to where the player is like, their head is spinning and they're trying to figure out what's even happening. It's a pretty complicated balancing act, but we have a good grip on it now. It's been crazy. It's a journey because you have ideas, especially, I'm sure like when it comes to making videos, you probably have an idea of how you want things to go, and then it kind of takes a shape of its own. By the time you finish it, it's something completely different. It's very similar to this, and it blends. This blends a lot of people, a lot of time, and people have gone into helping us to make this what it is. And by doing that, people leave their fingerprints on it, and it takes shape in a really interesting way. So
the show itself is been layer after layer of like lessons almost as every day goes by.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's great. I think it's a really fun creative process, and the people I'm working with are amazing. So it's really good that we can kind of yell at each other and figure out what the right answer is for stuff, because it means a lot to us. So I'm so glad to be able to work with them, and I couldn't be happier.
Hell yeah, man.
easy work for a fucking real
Cold,
actor.
ancient
No,
heart.
they wouldn't be able to get in.
See, such a great man.
How did you even first discover MDE, Sam Hyde, all of them? Like, what was your first experience watching any of that and even remotely stepping into that world?
So that's a good question. I try to think about that because my first like memory of Sam's work was the MDE World Peace sketch where they're playing baseball. Have you seen that one?
Fuck yeah, I have. With the dads there, like, you young, and the dude, the extra actually wanted to fight Nick. Bro,
that's really funny.
That's
amazing. Really, really good. And I love that one. Yeah, exactly. I'll pick you up by your ears and I'll slam you through the wall.
Yeah, how many of your friends are dead because of alcoholism?
I think that was my first priming of Sam's content, and then I saw, all the mirror videos, and I was following him pretty closely while I was working in New York. Had like a fashion job or something at the time, and it was really interesting. I was seeing him kind of like, start to blow up, and he did the iDubbbz video, and I was like, this is really cool. Like, he's doing his own thing, and I respected it a lot because it was really different to what was successful at the time, and it still is very different. I don't think there's anything quite like Sam's work or MDE or even Fishtank for that matter. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything that has that level of authenticity to it. I knew immediately, I was like, I gotta, work with him and collaborate in some way. It was just like a goal, not like consciously, but I was like, I definitely want to work with this guy and do something for him at some point.
Have you experienced yourself maybe sometimes where, like Sam and MDE, they kind of get they would get the shit end of the stick a lot because, of course, everybody's pre-assumptions, but they're very creative people, very intelligent as well. But of course, it's like, people can be intimidated by things like that. They try to outcast you and stuff. Have you maybe dealt with being cast as an outsider in the world of entertainment yourself in any kind of way where you related to MDE and Sam, and maybe that was like a, shit, it's like a family full of black sheep in a way?
Yeah. I always kind of found that I grew up with a lot of good people, I had good friends and stuff like that, but it's hard to articulate this properly. I just felt like a lot of the stuff that I was seeing from Sam's content was speaking to a part of me that, like, I feel like everybody kind of feels, it's not necessarily a specific point, it's more like an emotion, like that the CEO Eric Hayden sketch, mm-hmm. Where it's just like you're just like pissed and you don't know why.
Yeah, something in you is trying to break out. Yeah. And
yeah.
Especially when you have something to offer the world, but you don't really know your place. Like, mm-hmm. you have some talent, and in a way like an X-Men, but you're not part of the X-Men. You know what I mean? Like, you have this special mutant ability, but you're good at something, but you just don't really have like placement and stuff. I think that speaks to people as well. That like, as I said, that black sheep kind of like, I'm a puzzle piece that doesn't fit in anywhere, but then we make our own collage kind of thing.
Yeah, that it really is. It's just like that, and even trying to work like in the creative fields in like a corporate sense, it was difficult. Like I was saying before, I had a fashion job. I worked at this fashion place, and it was all like city people because I worked in New York City, and it was like difficult to navigate. Just because, like, if you're not doing something, like you said, that you really feel calling to, it's one thing, and then the environment, the kind of people there are, it's like, it's difficult to find a good place. And even if you're good at something, you got to be around people that kind of understand you,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm very, very happy that I'm able to do that here because, I don't know if there's really any other place that allows for that right now. It's definitely
you fall in line or you get out kind of thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's good that it exists because I think even for people that don't appreciate or recognize the stuff that is going on with MDE or Fishtank, I think that people can look to that at least as an example and say like, hey, I want to do that with my own projects. I want to do that. I want to find my own group of people. I think in a way, for them being like black sheep or whatever, or like outcasts in the media sense, they wound up connecting a lot more people. And I think the impact on just culture in general is significantly higher than maybe people want to admit.
Because sometimes, because of how taboo everybody looks at Sam Hyde and MDE, you get surprised whenever you see some video or like a thumbnail on YouTube has nothing to do with MDE, but they have like Sam Hyde maybe with the gun or something in the thumbnail for some reason. You're like, wow, I forget how many people know about him and MDE, but they just don't really like talk about it. But it's becoming a lot more of a discussion now. It's a lot less taboo, I feel. People are seeing a little bit more like of the creative side of everything now. So I really think that Fish Tank probably is I think a major part really of helping people see that creative side and that fun, entertaining side, rather than just, this is a right-wing agenda, we're neo blah 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 blah. It's like, oh my god, shut the fuck up, bro. Like, how many asshole, crazy, psychotic people do you see on TikTok making videos that are famous now and rich, but yet you have these stipulations about this guy who actually makes a production company? What's going on?
Yeah, I've always kind of seen it like that too, you know, especially being someone who is a fan. The first, you know, I was firstly a fan of them, and it's been a blessing to be able to work with them in any capacity. Just to kind of see it, the way I see it is way less of like a political thing or like a left-right thing. I think it's more just like these people want to make good stuff.
Yeah, just people being people. You know,
yeah, people want to make good art, and it's hard to do that in the confines of a corporate structure, or, you know, it's like a meat grinder.
Yeah,
like everywhere else. So I think it's really good that people are able to be creative, and I think, you know, there are a lot of people now that have worked with Sam and with other people and MDE in general that are on the other side of the fence. Yeah. And I think that the level of quality is permeating through the bullshit of like ideology.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that hopefully that continues, because it will actually it'll achieve world peace.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Very eloquently put. No, seriously, because if you look at the examples of like the David Lucas fishing with Sam Hyde video, or like I forgot the gun channel's name, but he was on that gun channel with the whole crew, the whole MDE crew was with them pretty much. And it was funny because YouTube made that gun rule the very next day after that video came out. I was like, oh, that's interesting timing. The Matan interview with Sam Hyde, and now Nick as well. So I mean, more and more and more people, as you said, I think are just seeing the creativity, because I mean, Matan himself and a bunch of other people, a bunch of streamers do like controversial shit now, you know what I mean, to even get clips, clip farming, all this shit. Everybody does crazy shit now. So I don't really think it's very far-fetched of what Fish Tank and everybody's doing. I think it's kind of just along with the times now. How did you actually end up linking up with the MDE crew and then getting the opportunity to be in the Bloodgames series?
There was a server that Sam had for Joyride that he wanted people to essentially contribute to, and essentially I believe he was looking to hire people for it. And I had met my programmers, and rather I'd met Anthony, my business partner, and Jay, and we decided to work on a project together outside of Fish Tank. You know, or rather even Joyride, we'd met up and been like, you know, we all want to do this thing, but it's a bit of a pipe dream right now. Let's try to make something ourselves, and then, you know, kind of see how it goes. And then you know, we wound up thinking, why don't we do a Fish Tank game? You know, why don't we do a demo, or why don't we do like a proof of concept and present it to them and see what they say? Because obviously we're all fans of the content, and we want to work on, you know, creative endeavors and interactive media. So we did that, and thank God Jet saw it, and Jet contacted us, and we wound up, you know, just communicating, linking up from there, and things just kind of worked out. As far as Bloodgames went, we went over there to kind of help out and do some construction work. It was just a good time, like outdoors, getting fresh air. And, you know, as things developed, Jay and I were working pretty heavily on it, and Anthony was working on Jimmy Craft in the meantime.
Yeah, the birth of Jimmy Craft.
We wound up, you know, just taking on more responsibility, and we were just able, and we had the time and ability to put together something really cool and help out.
Hell yeah.
You know, so that it kind of just blossomed into that, and it was really a special thing.
What was the approach of how did it go from like just simply doing some construction work to you pretty much became one of the one of the directors of that season of Bloodgames, because you were doing a lot of directing of the team, you know, reading the next challenges, you know, mediating a lot of incidents as well. You know, I mean, you were definitely smack dab in the middle of the John versus Jimmy. That's definitely sure you were right there.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, I don't know. I'm very much a kind of shoot first, ask questions later type of guy. If I see a problem, I want to solve it. I appreciate the opportunity that I had to be able to do that and kind of even, you know, make mistakes. Yeah. You know, everybody is very relaxed and understanding of that. And I don't know, like I just was I had a lot of energy. I wanted to do a good job, and I care a lot about Fish Tank and, you know, the work that everybody's put into the institution as well. So I was like, you know, if there's any job that I can do, I'm going to do it. And I just put on as many hats as I could.
Hell yeah, which you definitely did, because man, I feel like maybe John popped a little wood when you got on that wolf suit, man.
Yeah. You know, that's one of the things, man. I'm no stranger to laughing at myself, and
it's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good time. But when we needed like a dumb thing, and I thought if I thought a joke was funny, or if I thought a bit was funny, and nobody wanted to do it, then I had to ask myself, like, is it funny enough for me to embarrass myself? And the answer was usually yes. You know?
Is this how
so,
the
like,
birth
if
of
nobody
the
else
Goblin
wanted
arose?
to do it, well, the Goblin was funny because we were thinking about structures to build, and we were going to do this. Originally, it was going to be like a Fallout
I think
style.
He hears you. I think he's kind of mean. Goblin's kind of mean mugging you right now.
Oh,
it's all good. We're just talking. It's good things.
no, you know what?
Sorry.
Just go back to working out, man.
I'm sorry.
Goblin's had a little bit of after Bloodgames, you know, Goblin made friends, and he made he made the wrong friends.
Yeah.
You know, like, he got into a bad crowd, and he's on a path to recovery right now. He got into a little bit of a substance abuse problem.
Yeah, he left Schitty, but Schitty never left him.
Yeah, and you know, he's been in recovery. He's going through the steps right now, and that's why we're kind of living together. You know, he's kind of sleeping on this couch right here.
Yeah.
But you know,
you did a good job cleaning it, though.
Yeah. I mean,
I know
it's not really him. It's me.
Bit, you know.
It's me that's cleaning it. I'm gonna be honest with you. He's a bit, you know, I'm very patient because, you know, back in Iraq, the Goblin was there for me.
Yeah.
But I'll always owe him a favor. But he's really stepping on it this time. He's really pushing my fucking buttons.
Yeah, and you know, we appreciate your service, Goblin. You know, you know, and you know, thank you so much for. Okay. All right. I know he's in the middle of I know. I get it. I don't like when people talk to me while I'm pumping either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I get it.
You know, one of the last things, you know, we're trying to cut out the caffeine now.
Yeah.
You know, he takes a lot of pre-workout.
He drinks a lot of Zip, I know, I'm sure.
Yeah. Zip is, you know, he goes through about 6 cases. I don't even know if I'm going to make rent this month because, you know, he's costing us crazy, even with the company discount.
Yeah, Sodaman is definitely, I know he's familiar, to say the least, with Goblin's habits. I got that, like, in anime when someone looks at you and their aura pierces you and you kind of have that lightning bolt right there.
You know, man, I kind kind of got to get this guy the fuck out of my house.
Yeah.
So,
We'll work
you know,
on it.
can you do me a favor? Like, you think you can let him stay on your couch for a couple days? Just like, it's like a short-term thing.
How should we
And,
talking?
You know, like a couple days, maybe like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll work it out. We'll get it. We'll get that sorted out. I appreciate it, man. That's, you know, that's really big.
Anywhere
for me.
from 3 days to 3 weeks, we'll work that out.
Yeah. Yeah, 3 months.
You said you were in a fashion like in a fashion business before that. Were you always in the film business or entertainment business before Fish Tank or before working with Bloodgames?
No, actually, I've never done any type of acting or like theater or like any type of camera work whatsoever. I've always wanted to. I really enjoy like just having fun and making a fool out of myself. So I think it was like just right place, right time.
Oh, yeah.
I've had a lot of jobs too, and I think maybe like service industry type gigs helped a lot because I did a lot of catering. So I had to put on a smile and, you know, talk to people, and, you know, even if I wasn't feeling it, I had to like be kind of like energetic. So it was, I think it kind of just blends together into like this result. You know, I'm especially, I don't even know where it came from for me, because I was so tapped out. Like we were going hard for a few months there, just like physical labor and stuff. The boulders that were in the ground at that place, we had to like dig down, kind of root them out. And they were like, these rocks had to be like 200 pounds.
Yeah.
We had to be like lifting them out of the ground and just like hoisting them out.
Shit.
You know, it was,
yeah,
it was crazy. That place, everybody really did a fantastic job at clearing the land and allowing for these structures like the tower or, you know, the bunk beds and stuff like that to be built.
Yeah, like trailblazing almost. Yeah.
Have you seen what it looked like when we first got there?
I don't think I saw when y'all very first got there. I did see like some pictures of like the middle of the construction at the beginning, and then I've seen what it looks like pretty much like now, you know, after all of everything has been said and done.
When we were doing the initial like layout planning, we had to kind of like look at plots of land and like see what would be like appropriate. Like what we did to that place, like it's like a total facelift.
Y'all definitely put a lot of work into that shit. You know what? That's actually really cool, because when I was talking to everybody and even you about this, that must have really made y'all grow that much closer with the whole project, and even just where you're doing it, making you feel that much more pride in this project and area of Schitty. You know?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, it was really, really cool just to see it take shape and become what it was. And like, you know, it's very similar to, you know, like I was saying before about like videos or even like the game that I'm working on now or whatever. It started out with a simple idea, and then we just kind of like kept putting little post-its on the board of like ideas, you know, and then it essentially turned into this completely wild project and end result. And it was really something special, because I don't think any of us envisioned that to begin with, and the actual result, I think, is better than any of us could have imagined. I think it was really, really cool, and I think the inspiration from that will kind of carry over into the future.
When you saw the lights of Schitty go on, and then of course when the sun went down and everything really popped off, man, what was it like being a vampire at the mercy of John's righteous, his wrath of godly justice? You know, what was it like being a vampire there? Because even on the first night that he arrived, tensions were flaring a little bit, because of course he wasn't, as he says, he wasn't familiar with the rules, you know. So what was it like being a vampire there in Schitty?
It was fantastic. It was really dark. You gotta be kind of like a stuntman, because there's rocks and there's like hazards kind of everywhere, and you wouldn't be able to really tell from the outside, but those masks are extremely low visibility.
Yeah. And you actually made the rigs, I heard. You made the rigs of the POV cams, and I heard you made a lot of the vampire helmets and whatnot, and the armor for them. So good job on that, brother.
Thank you, man. That was really fun. That was, again, like problems kind of arising, and then, you know, I'm just like, you know what, I have an idea, let's fix it. You know, we were trying to figure out what was gonna happen with the chest rigs. And, at first we were going to use elastic, those like bands that go around, and those were like flopping everywhere. We were doing like little alpha tests of everything, and it was just, basically unwatchable. And we were thinking, and we were kicking around ideas. We were thinking about doing like flak jacket or whatever vests, like the ones that were in like Warzone where you put the plates in. We're thinking about doing that. And then I played a lot of football growing up, and I was always thinking like, you could wear those pads like all day, and especially like in the heat or whatever. And I was just thinking, I was like, what if I took those pads and then I like just rigged them into something that's like, because it had that hard plastic shell on the outside and had the padding underneath. And I was like, what we could take that, have them be super comfortable, and then run wires between the plastic and the padding to keep, like the batteries on, and we had a bunch of attachments for them, and the plastic shell was super stable, so they were able to actually move around. And I was like, I pitched the idea to Jet, and he liked it, and then I just sat there for like fucking 4 days with the Dremel and those football pads, and I just like put them together with Matt Majok, who is a genius. Majok is the man.
Shout out Majok.
Yeah, shout out to Majok, because I don't think anything that I suggested when it came to that stuff would have worked without him. He literally made that thing happen. Like, bar none, he is the guy. Like, I had a stupid idea, and he was like, let's actually make that sophisticated and, work.
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you what, if you ain't got your goggles on, you better scatter!
What I loved was the HD director cam being a big part of Bloodgames as well. I know that staff, some people are kind of like 50-50 on it, they like that natural fish tank look of that corner cam or something like that. But man, that HD camera really helped highlight a lot of Bloodgames, I really feel.
Yeah, I think those point zoom camera, or not point zoom, FX3s, I believe they're called. The FX3s were like amazing. They really enhanced everything. It gave you like a level of understanding what was happening that you wouldn't have gotten just from the first-person cameras. Like, I love the first-person cameras. Like, I was like, there were so many problems that came up where like they were almost completely unusable, and I was like essentially like begging. I was like, let's just figure out something, because if we don't, then I feel like we're gonna lose some like really funny shots. Like I think one shot is kind of ingrained in my brain. It's during the fireworks light show rave type situation with the vampires, and it's a screenshot of Taylor reloading. There's fireworks going off, there's vampires attacking her, and then the Duke is riding towards her on the motorcycle, and it's like you couldn't get that anywhere else. Like, that one shot makes the whole thing worth it, in my opinion. Or even the shots that are like, if someone's a little too tall or a little too short to get like the full scope of what's happening from just that angle. I think for all those shots that existed, I think like the few really good like intense first person shots really helped just like sell the game aspect of it.
It was like the good part of the old Doom movie when they went first person, or like the House of the Dead movie when they went first person. Yeah, man, that shit was so raw, and actually caught some of the best views of the vampire attacks as well. Literally like watching Kick or Twitch or something, but with Fish Tank, because you're seeing each person walk around the woods having their own conversations with the POV cams and hearing their perspective and seeing their point of view. I don't know, that's just fucking cool. Like, especially Ty's. Whenever Ty had a POV camera, I just knew that laughs were coming.
Yeah, he's the man. Can I just say, Ty was one of those people where like, I was thinking, because I watched the first season of Fish Tank and I loved him. Then I know he was in the second season. I wasn't watching as much because I was doing video game stuff like pre-development, and I also helped out with the merch for season 2. But when I heard Ty was going to be on, I was like, is he going to last? I was like, he might like bow out early because, you know, he's a comedian and he's very funny and he likes to roll with the punches, but it's rough, you know. And he wound up surprising me so much because, like, he not only stuck it out, I feel like he could have went longer, and he was fucking boxing me like while I was the Goblin. He was like wrestling and fucking, you know, going in. He was really like my favorite part of the show. Like, I loved conversing with him. I loved messing around. Like, he really added a much needed element of comedy that I feel like everybody has their own brand, but I think his was crucial in order to kind of bring it together.
His fucking one-liners. I've said this time and time again. Ty was my very first interview ever with anybody ever with Fish Tank. And like, bro, he's such a fucking chill guy. And I thought the same thing. I was like, Ty being out in the woods, how is this going to go down for 2 weeks? I hope he doesn't leave because I fucking love this guy. He was the best sharpshooter. He won the tournament, I think, with the dueling. When they had the sword and shield, and then I mean he went and boxed Xavier, even though he didn't, which I understand, he didn't want to do face shots. He still did it, you know, like he was just stepping up to the plate time after time, you know. And I was like, damn, man, Ty is like, and he's still being funny every day. You know, I was really impressed with really everybody, but like the show would not have been as funny every single day and night without Ty there, because he kept everyone in the groups, I think, spirits up as well with his just, you never know what he's gonna say about something, you know. Yeah,
he's a genuine performer. Like he's like, he knows how to put on a show and he does it in his own way. Like, oh yeah.
I see him checking his phone. I know since Bloodgames happened, he's probably got a lot. Yeah, we get it. You got all the clout. You got all the little goblin pussy that you could dream of. We get it.
You know, I'm trying to tell him this. I try and tell him to slow down because like he lives a little fast. Like I told you, he's in recovery.
Kept saying that he was like doing ketamine and then just like powerlifting and shit.
Yeah, he's doing ketamine. He was eating poop. It was like a big thing. It was like back and forth. I was trying to tell him to slow down. You know.
Yeah.
And you know what? I've never seen somebody lift more weight after eating a piece of poop.
Yeah,
I've never seen it before. But you know what? He's a specimen. Ever since he lost to Vance, he's been trying to get his lick back. He's been training for that.
What are your thoughts on your fight between Vance?
I remember he was saying something like when I attacked him once. I attacked the fish, and then he said something like, I'm gonna kick the Goblin's ass or something, and then, you know, obviously I was like keeping that in the back of my head, and I was like, I'm gonna try and bring that up at some point. And you know, when the Goblin had the chance to, he brought it up because he saw that the other people were fighting, and Vance was a good sport about it. And yeah, you know, Vance is in that regard and in any regard really, he knows what he's doing, and he's a good competitor, and he's a good artist. So I appreciate his willingness to do it, and I appreciate the fact that he was very good. I was at first a little like, I was like kind of feeling him out, and then I was like, oh no, I gotta be careful. Like I gotta make sure that, you know, we're gonna put on a good show, but I gotta not get knocked out.
Yeah, and he's the oldest of like, I think like three brothers, so it's like, yeah, they definitely grew up scrapping, that's for sure.
Yeah. And you know, like I have some boxing training in myself. I mean, I haven't kept up with it because, you know, just life and being you know, an adult that has to do all this other stuff.
Of course, obligations are a bitch.
Yeah, when I was younger, I was boxing a lot, and I was training to do amateur, but I never wound up doing it just because the commitment is insane. Those people, like, to do all that and then to get your ass kicked is like, at some point, I was just like, this is good. I love the sport. I feel amazing doing it, but
great workouts, of course.
Yeah, the head trauma and stuff from it too. It's just like whatever. But
shout out Scott, man. We don't know how you do it, bro. Shout out Scott Sullivan.
No, seriously, that guy's an animal. The fact that he's able to go and do that all the time, and it's his profession, is like nothing but respect for people that are able to do that. But you got to be careful. You can't be scrapping and playing around.
You know what? Can we talk about Jimmy since we're talking about the fish? Can we talk about Jimmy for a second, man? Jimmy is another one that just constantly stepped up to the plate if there was a challenge. challenge, or now, you know, we're all only human and everybody's like, oh, you know, he gets angry. And it's like, yeah, you're in the woods, you're being bit by mosquitoes 24/7, it's hot. Yeah, you get a little fucking pissed, bro. Like,
sleeping outside. Jimmy, no, look, everybody was playing. Jimmy was in. Jimmy was full,
the fuck in.
2 feet, knees deep in it. And you know what? Like, I respect it. Yeah, and he was committed. He was trying to be the best teammate. He was trying to do his job. And I think, in terms of, like, you know, everybody was playing Blood Games. Jimmy was playing Jimmy Craft. Like,
yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Jimmy was playing Jimmy Craft. If we weren't even in his game.
Yeah, no, he was in, bro. Like, he knew exactly what the role called for, and he was doing his absolute best to both put on a show and also just survive. Because there is a huge aspect of the show that, you know, I know everybody's able to watch it, and, you know, there's the point of view cameras and there's the setup cameras, but being out in the woods like that, and you know, not having a chance to really shower or take a breather, and you're just like in a cot in a wood structure, it's rough, man.
Yeah, I can imagine it would probably wear on your mental stability a bit. 14
Absolutely.
days straight.
Yeah, and you know, I tried to make sure that it was fun above all with that, because it was a lot that we were asking of them. It was like it was a big endeavor for them to be able to stay out there and to be able to perform like at any time out in the wilderness like that. Like, you know, the show itself, like being in the house, there is a sense of stability, even though it's like an asylum. You know, the fact that there's a structure and stuff is good. Any direction someone can come and attack you. Like, and you know, I was like crawling on my stomach for like 45 minutes to try and sneak up on them and get the drop on them and scare the shit out of them or whatever. Like, I really, really appreciate their willingness to stick through it. You know, that was awesome.
The whole team was phenomenal. Everybody really played their part, and even if there was, like, you know, somebody's having a down day, everybody really balanced each other out for sure.
Yeah.
You know? Now, other than the time where, of course, Jimmy and John may have had a little bit of a spat there. What'd you think of that fight, though? You were also in between them when it very first even started, when he threw the thing at John too, and he's like, God fucking damn it. Like, which is honestly, I love Jimmy. He's amazing. I love the guy, but that is one of my favorite, when he actually goes like that, like, God fucking damn it. That's one of my favorite scenes, and I want that, like, if that could be a shirt, him just
yeah, he is honestly one of my favorite people. And just to be able to, and you know what, like, John is really, really great too. Like, just being able to be around them and their dynamic was so funny. Yeah. Like, I knew, like, all right, from like day 2 when like John stole the gold, and, you know, I knew like he was pissed, but he was also, you know, on camera and he was having a good time and he was putting it on, like, performance. You know, like, nothing was really past his like comfort zone in terms of, like, I knew where to ride the line and keep him like happy and entertained, like John.
Yeah, no makeup though.
No makeup, no gay shit. But he was like, when him and Jimmy were fighting, it was because John was not following the rules at all. So we had this idea of like, how can we make that even funnier? And it's like, okay, let's make him a mod.
He did not like that.
I sat there and I just like was just thinking of a bunch of like funny bullshit rules, and like we're just sitting around the back room, and like I was just like, anything that I thought was funny, if I have that document still, I'll send it to you, just like the official rule book for Blood Games. Like, I wanted, and the thing is too, I put in like console commands for him, So like, if he had read it and actually used it, like he could like use weird bylaws and rules. If he like set a prompt, like the NPCs would have to do things for him. You know,
Yeah,
like
man.
we had like a bunch of stuff planned out where like if
God
he, like,
mode and no clip through everything.
yeah. I wanted him to read. I just wanted him to do it, and like it was so funny that him and Jimmy like wound up spatting over that, and it really wasn't planned, but I was like in awe. I was like, oh my god, that's hysterical. I gotta like, you know, just not let them kill each other,
Yeah.
but like just see like, you know, where it is. Like I was doing like a constant
You
like
spilled
temperature
paint and you created a Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
Like, that's what
awesome.
fucking happened. Let me just go ahead and say too, for this episode too, it's like they are great guys. We love both John and Jimmy over here. We love both those guys. They're fucking awesome.
I loved watching them and working alongside them. It's funny because like I haven't actually had a chance to watch Bloodgames. Like
Really?
Yeah, no, I haven't. Like I've seen like obviously like people would send me clips of, you know, like the Goblin stuff, and people would send me like stuff, and I saw whenever like AB posted something on YouTube or like I would like look up the clips, but the actual experience of being able to watch it live, you know, by creating and helping, I wasn't able to actually like judge or view it myself, so I was just like, maybe it's funny, maybe it's not.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna keep going and see how it goes. Like I couldn't really get a gauge on whether or not people liked it until like after the fact. Yeah, I'm excited for it. Whatever they got cooking up over there is it's always the best, especially like with the current stuff with season 2 is really, really good. It's probably, you know, in terms of like the editing, I would say it's as good as any reality TV show that's, you know, on a big channel. You know, I love what they're doing with it. I think it's fantastic.
Will Goblin be making any kind of return in the future, or did he ever even leave Schitty?
Yeah, I think it depends. The Goblin is you know, he's currently trying to fix himself. He's trying to get himself right. You know, who knows if he's able to get himself where he needs to be, so be it. If I'm a betting man, I'd say the Goblin is probably better off working at a Best Buy. Having to interface with like all of the stuff out there and like the trash, like biting into like I think I ate like an eggshell on camera.
Were you like bruised up or anything like that? Did you get pretty beat up in those nights where you would, you know, go in they would all be like trying to wrestle shit out of your hand. You'd have like 5 of them on you. There was a time where like ties literally like jumped on you, like
yeah,
you know?
I got my ass kicked. Honestly, I got beat up. They all beat the shit out of me. At first, it was like, you know, oh my god, there's a Goblin, and then literally they're like, fuck it, we're jumping him. And like, like, you know, and then, like we laughed about it, and I was like, dude, I think I just got my fucking ass kicked. And then like, you know, like I went back, and then they put it up as a fish toy. Aperture bought it, and then I was like, all right, I'm going back out there. They kicked my ass again, and then like 4 or 5 days into it, like the toy got bought, and I'm like putting on the makeup like a prostitute. I'm just like I'm going out there to get my fucking ass kicked again.
God,
I was like,
it was great though. It was glorious, and you could tell that really hyped them up, man.
It was honestly like for as much of a physical demand as it was for me. Like I think that it was honestly, I didn't feel it until like after. I cover it like everything is green when I wear it. Like it's like my clothes, or like if I sit down on a chair, the chair's green. If I touch a doorknob, the door, like if the last time I think like I had like a green hue to me for like 2 weeks. I couldn't, no matter how much I showered, it was just like embedded in my follicles. It was just, it was like, yeah, it was like jaundicing or something.
I need more power.
Shout out to Master Xavier. I think Xavier is one of the most powerful presence I've ever felt. Honestly, I think he's definitely the superstar of the show. I think there's no way that show could have been what it was without him. I think you know, his will that was able to permeate and take over Schitty and take down the Duke. You know, I think it's been it was powerful on the Blood Game show, and I think also behind the scenes he was like a force. You know, I met him in person, and when I did, I was like thoroughly impressed. I was like, and I was like, literally, like, I was like, dude, this guy is pro, like, insanely cool. Yeah. And
his improv is just unmatched, really.
Yeah, he's genuinely like a generational talent. I was going out there, I was like, man, like, he must be exhausted when it comes to like the writing on the show. So I had no idea that he was coming in, you know, with his illustriousness and his lore. Yes, and it definitely was not written by AI. It was all his personal life and his stories through his 800 years or his thousands of years of living. The actual missions and the quests and the characters. I had no idea that Xavier was, you know, working and doing his stuff. So like, I was like, all right, well, you know, if we need stories, like I had gone to back home to work something out with my family, and I had a few days, so my brother and I sat and wrote about 50 pages worth of stuff for the show. And then when I came back, I had this binder, I was showing it to the guys, they liked it, and I met Xavier, and Xavier had his own like set of missions and stuff, like structure stuff, and I was like, oh my god, like we looked at each other like, this is awesome, like we put it together. And like we just like we had this like super document of like everything, and it was like like so many things worked well together, and we just wound up like, I think we got like as much as we could packed into it, and it was like what we were able to pull off with that. I felt anything that I felt was like, you know, lacking from my stuff totally had the counterbalance to it, and he had more. Like I was just seeing what he brought to the table, and like it was like I knew, like I was like, dude, this guy's a master. Yeah. Like because I was doing, you know, the stuff that I did, I had a couple days, whatever, I just put together what I could for like all the quests that they were doing. It was really just like, how do we, I was thinking about it through like the frame of like a video game, just like, you know, if we had to make like in real life missions and stuff like that, like I was thinking like escort missions or like capture the flag or like King of the Hill, you know, stuff like that. Like, how do we fundamentally allow for it to play out kind of similar to like Oblivion or Skyrim or something like that? I was like, so that's kind of where the basis was, and I was thinking about like the characters and how what character archetypes would work for the people that were coming on the show, and I wrote some like extra ones just in case, like, you know, there were some unknown people, blah blah blah. And yeah, it was just funny, like Moro being the doctor was not planned, but he was really good. like there was this one where like Jimmy and him had to perform surgery on a guy, and I was expecting someone like Alex Schultz to like be like a, you know, like a immoral, unethical doctor, you know,
that would
come
be
in.
Amazing. I'm surprised he wasn't on there. Like that guy, I like how quick he is with his speech. It's very like Vince Vaughn, like, you know. Yeah, he's very, very good at like just being like a presence on camera, and he's really good at like getting the essence of a character and then being able to, you know, churn it out. I think it's like, it's really fun to watch. Like in anything. Yeah, the stand-up is really, really good. And also just Be Nice to Me Productions in general, like the sketches that he has, like he's been going for a while, and his like catalog is pretty vast, like really, really good stuff. I always like, I'll check out some of his old videos sometimes and laugh. I believe because his YouTube got taken down, all of his videos are on MD.TV because YouTube
struck his channel. I was thinking about him for that role, and then Moro was there, and Alex was unavailable, so I was like, all right, Moro, you're the Doctor, and him he just didn't care, like at all.
Okay, and are you hurting? Okay, how's that feel? And then he had his cup the whole time. That's what was great.
His buzzball. It was so funny. Like, and you know what? Like, and this isn't even me saying anything. I think Moro on the show was fantastic. I razzed him a little bit as the Goblin, but I got nothing but love for anybody that was on the show. And I think that he brought his own element to it, and being able to watch him do stuff and then play off of Jimmy, and I thought it was really funny. I thought it was all really funny.
Yeah, his little sassiness is definitely it draws a reaction, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's like Dunye fighting
awesome.
the TTS. It's funny.
Yeah, Dunye is the town crier. Like we were like, bouncing ideas back on and off at each other, like who should be what. Like I believe my brother had the idea for Greg being Van Helsing, and I was like, dude, yeah, because he's like a foil to like Sam in that way. I remember watching the clips of season 2, like he was very like against the whole fish tank shtick. Mm-hmm. Once he kind of realized where he was constantly saying, I want to go home and this and that. I was like, they play off each other really funnily. Like, it would be really funny if they were like rolling around on the floor like WWE, like low budget, like stabbing each other like forever. Yeah. Just like so I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Like, let's do it. And then little bits and pieces came like that together. It's really interesting just to see like all the stuff that we were able to combine and put together. Like I loved just being able to sit like in the few short stretches where Xavier and I had free time, because it was so crazy. Like free time for us was like 2 hours, maybe once every 4 days.
Yeah, he barely had time to play his gacha game.
Yeah, exactly. He had barely any time to play his gacha game or go on his phone. It was just us like in a room, just like figuring out what we're gonna do for the next, however many days. And it was really, really crazy. It was just like, and Sodaman helped out a lot too. Like we were able to, take these ideas that we thought conceptually would work, and then kind of like take pieces and kind of craft them together into something that actually worked for a camera. And this like the whole thing too, like it was a long running community theater type situation, like we were constantly role playing, constantly, just trying to keep the train going. Yeah, it was crazy. Like just being able to take those ideas and then put them into that format of like, hey, like you're gonna have to do 7 hours worth of LARPing, so we need to make sure that there's like a block for that.
Yeah, I definitely feel Spencer's D&D knowledge had to have come in handy in that, because he said if you guys were not sleeping or working there, you guys were in the writer's room, and there wasn't a lot of sleep there. So he definitely mentioned that you guys were working quite around the clock just to make these stories come to life for everybody.
Yeah, and Xavier and Spencer were like indispensable with that. I think like, I appreciate everybody saying kind things about me, but I think if they weren't there, like it would have been crazy. It would have been a fucking,
man.
Who knows?
They chose the 3 kings right there to do the writing, because all 3 of you were just extremely dedicated and just really into the whole project itself. Man, that's great. They couldn't have had better people doing that. What were some of the biggest obstacles that you and the other members of crew had to deal with? Like, what were some of the most dreadful points of production?
So I think one of the hardest parts was the cameras and the Wi-Fi. I think that like the FX3s were as good as they could be. I think that they really helped and they tied the show together. But the body cameras were giving us a rough go, because we only had one night to really test the whole experiment. Like, is this going to work as a show? And we did like a trial run where it was Luca, Jameson, Jet, and Anthony, I believe. He was one of the people that helped on production. They were wearing the body cams and they were doing quests that I had set up with Xavier, and I was like doing the logistics of like coordinating vampires, and we were doing like test footage, and we were like, yo, this is perfect. Like, we did it, like, the beta test was like a perfect run of exactly what we wanted, and everything was like firing like amazingly.
Hell yeah.
And then the show started, and between like the traffic from the website and like the Wi-Fi itself, like we had like logistical issues with like the phones were picking up and then dropping the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I remember there was a little bit, quite a bit of troubleshooting with the POVs, but, you know, understandable being outside, and I'm sure you're having to work with things like similar to Starlinks and stuff like that just to get like connection out to those POVs.
There was a lot of different methods that were tried throughout the few months leading up to the production of the show, but we wound up, funnily enough, like we had these like battery packs linked up to the phones, then we tried to have speakers on them, and like those rigs were built to be able to have like so many things on them, and then we wound up just being like, it's probably simplest just to run a phone off of it. And just the phone by itself. So like we wound up doing that, and then we almost had to drop the POV cameras entirely because the Wi-Fi, or first of all, they would overheat because it was like we had a heat wave the entire time the show was running, so the phones were running out of battery quickly, and then they were throttled by the amount of charge that could be carried from the battery to the phone's battery. So it was like twofold, not charging faster than it was consuming, and then the heat from charging it was overheating the phone quickly. So we were like, oh man, like we might have to lose POVs and just run FX3s the whole time. And that was a problem because all of the structure of the show, what I had done for the writing was to try and make sure that we could have 2 parties of 3 questing, so that like the whole entirety of the map was being used, and we had like, you know, things to watch.
Party A and party B. So no matter what, you have some kind of objective that both teams are doing to keep the entertainment.
Exactly. So that was the original plan, and it wound up like, we wound up almost having to scrap it, and I'm like, well, what are we going to do? Like, that's going to change the whole structure of how things are executed. And
so much working on your feet there.
It's a lot of problem solving, and I'll say this about Jet and Ben, they know how to manage a fire. You know, they know how to remain calm and figure out, you know, and kind of just like let things breathe for a second. You know, for me, it was my first time doing it. I had a lot of, you know, just nervous kind of like apprehension to allowing things to play out. I felt like, you know, if it fails, it's like, I didn't want to be, what's the word? I didn't want to neglect something or whatever. I was just worried about kind of falling asleep at the wheel. But it's actually not that. It's a trust in the entire work, all of the work that was done beforehand to allow for the product to be what it is. And they had, you know, like a calm approach, and it allowed for the kind of the show to turn into what it was. You know, and it was cool to see that. It was cool to see like that kind of mentality, and it allowed for, you know, new situations to spawn that wouldn't have spawned otherwise. Yeah, they're good. They're definitely good at monitoring those kinds of situations, and you know, it's for someone like me, I was very green during that stuff, so like, you know, everything to me was like stage 4, you know, fire alarm, you know, like I'm just like, oh man, like everything, like I don't know what to do, blah blah blah, and then they're just like, chill, let's just see what happens, you know, and let's, you know, we're gonna go about it this way. And I'm like, okay, fine. You know, and it, sure enough, it worked out. You know, a lot of that stuff. Anytime that things seemed like they were going to get, you know, boring or whatever, they wanted to kind of like fermenting into something different and becoming, you know, cool. So like, I think that's kind of what happened with like the John and Jimmy situation. You know, like it just turned into something funny. You know?
Yeah, one of the most famous moments of the show, really.
Every fucking day, we have to come up with your shit!
Some of you and the Goblin's favorite moments of being in Schitty for that 2 weeks.
I think writing the scrolls, because loved, like, especially like the tournament, like the whole idea with the scrolls was I wanted to just write bullshit that people had to improv. So like, you know, Letty would get a scroll and then she would open it and then she's like, what the fuck does this do? And like, you know, like, and then like she would rip it and then like the people that are around her had to like just do whatever they thought. You know, there were a few things like that. The one time where the scrolls were really making me die laughing and I almost like passed out was when Xavier was fighting Greg and in the tournament, and like I had like 3 bullshit scrolls or something for Xavier to win, and he was like he was using them, and then Greg had like his own bullshit to like throw back at Xavier. So I had to, like, in that time, like the distance between the arena and the garage, it's got to be like a quarter of a mile. I don't know how it's got to be a few hundred feet at least. You know, like it's more than a football field. So I had to run down that stretch. So I sprinted down to that stretch because we ran out of scroll paper for me to write bullshit on it. And then, like, when Xavier had the scroll of instant forfeit or something, and then the scroll of Greg gives up, that was me literally like sprinting as fast as I could to get the scroll paper to run back to give it to Xavier with like a new bullshit thing. I'm just like scribbling it as fast as I can to give it to him, because I knew that if Xavier didn't have something like that, then Greg was just not going to stop. Xavier's Metal Gear Rising Revengeance big fight scene where he's fighting like 100 vampires and he's going crazy, he's doing combos on them. That one sticks out to me a lot. That's all Xavier and his genius, man. He is an absolute, like I said, just a knockout performer and a creative mind. And I think that as far as another funny or like favorite moment, it was when Xavier and Sam, or the Duke, were they were going back and forth, and I believe Xavier said that Sam had like a museum of shit. I think another one that stands out to me greatly is when John had first become a vampire, I believe, and Sam was going through the rules with him, and they had ordered a goblin attack at the same time as Sam is breaking down for John. Like, he's like, well, I can go into smoke form and I could do this and that, and like he's explaining, and like I'm just like trying to like cause chaos while Sam is like being serious. And there was a clip that I had watched where, like, I guess it was like the top down axis cam, where all of the sound is just like scuffed and messed up while Sam is talking. Like, I just drop a rock on the deck of the beds, and it just like, it sounded like a bomb went off, and I was like, wow, that's exactly what I wanted. You know, there's a lot more moments that, you know, I'm sure as they'll come to me way after this interview's over, but that whole experience was like a whirlwind, and it was just a really good time. And I think that, you know, there's no amount of it's hard to like really pick like the best moment of it, because there's a lot of stuff that even went down like when we were building stuff, you know, like there's a lot of funny moments and just things that stick out in my memory. Like, yeah, it was a really, really good summer, you know, in general.
Was there like a time behind the scenes that was just like a really good moment for y'all that you're like, oh, this is fucking awesome?
It's one of the first times we had the golf cart. I remember we would whip it up and down the property, and then there was like this big back stretch of road. You know, like Jet and everybody were like, you know, taking it up and down, like going up and down those hills in the golf cart was like really, really funny, because the brakes on them were fried.
Oh shit!
So, like,
riding around like regular show.
The amount of ignorance that was going on in that thing was fun.
Was the neighborhood like getting on y'all's asses for like anything? Like were they giving y'all any problems or any? Were they stressing y'all at all?
I may I may have caused a couple of noise complaints with the screaming and the, you know, the 3 a.m. jump scare stuff that I was doing to them. I might have got Fish Tank in a little bit of trouble.
Oh shit, man! I'm surprised with all that land there, they still were able to hear all that shit. Damn.
Yeah, only because the way that the beds were kind of placed, it was too close. We thought it was far away enough, but I don't think any of us realized like how long we would be going, and then at the same time, like, we didn't realize how noisy we were, because I think at first there were a lot of trees and the sound was dampened by the amount of trees there were, but we cleared out so much of it that it changed by the end of the, you know, production cycle.
Yeah.
So I think we didn't realize how much noise we were actually making. and you know what though, it was luckily enough we were able to get through the 2 weeks, and we wound up not getting shut down or anything like that. I thank the people that were around us that didn't, you know, just say fuck it. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's crazy. I mean, you know what though, the show itself is crazy. Yeah. So, you know, any person that's like, hey, who are these new neighbors that showed up? And then they realize it's like, oh, they're running a reality TV show next to me.
Yeah, some of the crew was even telling me how they had to chase some people off too. They were trying to stream snipe like fans and stuff like that, so they had to be chased off.
That was genuinely, I was like, man, all these people here in one place, like,
yeah.
I get, you know, the internet is it's really cool, but I was also like,
MDE fans be crazy sometimes.
Yeah. But, you know, realistically though, like, that also is just one of those things that your outside view as like a fan, and it changes when, you know, you're actually doing stuff, and people are actually way nicer, and the fans are actually super supportive and appreciative. You might get a couple bad people here and there, but I've not run into any of them personally.
That's good, man.
You know?
Yeah, pretty chill. I mean, maybe they might have a couple of keyboard moments, you know what I mean? But overall, seems like real life, you know, pretty tamed down, maybe compared to a certain time too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
I would agree.
Was there anybody that you would have liked to see fight in the boxing tournament that you didn't get to see fight, or just in general? Is there anybody you'd like to see kind of go at it in the Fish Tank Kingdom?
Man, you know, I feel like we got a lot of good matchups. I'm trying to think who would be like a really good, solid one-on-one. I think if Deputy Brian fought, I'm trying to think, maybe Scott, because they're both kind of tall, or if Cowboy got in the ring with someone like Scott, I think that would be interesting, because they both have that combat experience. And I think you know, just seeing like people that are able to perform and you know, do some stuff, and then actually like duke it out, and you know, use like real skill is really funny to watch.
Or I know Scott and Sam did a light little match before, but I was like, man, if we honestly got to see them do like a real match, you know, that'd be pretty interesting. And I asked Xavier, I was like, who do you think would win in a match between Xavier and Gold Striker? And he actually said, he was like, now what I would like to do is kickboxing, because kickboxing, I think I could give him a run for his money and maybe even take the cake, but regular boxing, he'd probably have more power than me. So, and I was like, shit, you know, yeah, all those horse dances, yeah, Xavier's got to have some mean fucking kicks. I have no, or some knee throws too. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, I've seen, like, you know, he's very athletic build. You know, he's got this like very good like athletic, you know, to be able to like move the way that he moves, and like the type of like stabilizer muscles that you need to be able to do that is really, he's putting a lot of strain on himself. So like people might talk shit, but he's committing to that. That's a lot of work that he put in to make sure that he's able to do that. Because if you try moving around, it's like, you ever watch that thing where like people try to move around like the 2-year-olds, like the toddlers, and like they're dead tired within 5 minutes. Like if you try to move around like Xavier, Ravenblood, you would be completely wiped within like an hour.
Yeah.
And he was able to do that like every day, like 6 hours a day for 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like it's crazy when he was wheezing after that John. When he did that little spar with John, he was wheezing.
Seeing him put the whole costume together was nuts, and then him walking around in the heat wave like that. Like, all right, that here's another favorite moment of mine is the first or second night he was doing the Skyrim sneak through the. Like, he's, like, sneaking past their beds and stuff while they were sleeping. Like, even just holding that position and doing that it's putting a strain on your calves, man, and your thighs. I was ragged at the end of the show. Like, I was, like, my legs were cut, bruised, like, everything was, like, scuffed. Because, you know, I don't know, like, I'm sure it exists, but there's so many times where, like, you can't see anything, you just run full speed, and you just wipe out and you eat shit. Like I knocked into like some rocks. I like the back of my head slammed into a tree. Oof. Like I ran into that sign that they had, the checkpoint sign right outside of the home base, whatever. I ran full speed into that thing and I took it out. Like there was so many things. And then Jimmy was laying booby traps. He had fucking tripwire and like he was leaving out like branches and shit. And like I think there was one time where like it was one of the only times where like I got surprised by something and I was like, wow, that hurts so bad. I need to scream. Like I think I tripped over this big ass branch that Jimmy had. And then like, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna do that. But I picked up the branch and I threw it and I was like, the goblin doesn't like when you set traps.
You gotta roll with it, man. Just rolling with it. Hell yeah. Shout out Richie, man, because you had some great scenes over the fire with all the sparks going around you as the goblin too. Fucking epic shots, man. Those were so lit.
Richie's insane. Richie's awesome. I did not realize how, I mean, I should have known how talented everybody was, really, but people really came out of the woodwork and they did stuff that I didn't even think was possible. So the fact that, you know, Richie and Luca and I believe Sully and Yunez as well, they were all just sitting out there on the cameras, and Justice as well. They were running cameras all day, like out in the heat, standing up straight with those big rigs on their backs, and they're running the FX3s. They were doing crazy amounts of work, and I was running around like a chicken without a head. But, you know, if someone said go run the camera for 4 hours, I'd be like, fuck no.
Yeah.
They really made sure that everything that we had planned was captured, and they were making sure that there was film, and then rather like the memory cards were there, and the streams running, and there was always a battery pack. They were running back and forth. Majok was running around like crazy. I don't know if you guys caught that on camera at all, but he was always running to replace the point of view cameras or the axis cameras.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, like, and as far as, you know, the staff of the NPCs and stuff, like I want to just mention how much I appreciate them for putting up with my bullshit. I was running them late. Like, anybody that was an NPC was also running Vampire, and Vampires ran till like 3-4 in the morning sometimes. And then we had meetings at the beginning of the day at like 9-10 a.m. and, you know, I had to make sure I was making sure people were running at 3 a.m. and then I was up, you know, dragging them to the meeting, because, you know, like they just had to put up with a lot of my shit, because I was, you know, I was ragged myself, and I was just like trying to survive and make sure that mode. Yeah, exactly. And everybody was just so cooperative. Everybody was just so understanding whenever I gave them like a thing to do, or like a bit, or whenever we wrote something up together, the writers, and then you know, we just made sure that, like, and those guys made sure that any ideas that we had were executed properly, and everybody was just so down to do whatever.
Hell yeah.
And I appreciate it. One person in particular was really a soldier, I think, and that was Jacob the raccoon. I don't know if you know this, but not just from being the raccoon, I think the most strenuous thing, I think, was when he was the little boy, the little lost boy.
Oh man. That was hard to even sit through, bro.
It was awesome. It was awesome. And like, we were trying to find someone to do it. He was brave enough to get into like short like jorts. So he had short jorts on. He had suspenders, propeller hat, and a lollipop. I'm like, dude, you're the man.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Appreciate you. Like
took one for the team, man.
Exactly, because I'd done like the wolf thing. I'm stuffing like water bottles in my pants to make it look like I have like a furry bulge. I'm like going up and I'm humping John's leg, and it's like, you know, where everybody was kind of doing something stupid and just making sure that people had something to enjoy. And I think the people that did that, everybody that put up with the meetings and put up with the me in their ear and the walkie-talkie, just like telling them to say shit or do shit, like, thank you, like that. I think that was like really, really special. You know, man. It was fantastic.
Anything that you would like to see in future Blood games at all?
I want to see more Xavier Ravenblood.
Oh yeah.
I want to see as much Xavier Ravenblood as he can stomach to put out, because I think there is no Blood games without him. I think that anything that they wind up doing is going to be superb, and I'm excited to see it. When it comes to that, I'm working on the game right now, and hopefully I'm able to enjoy the show as it comes out, because it's a really, really good time. I'm sure they're only upping their game. They're only going to make things better, higher quality, better production. It's going to be lightning fast. Everything's going to be moving like a well-oiled machine. So yeah, I'm just as excited as you are. I think it's going to be a really good time, and I hope the Duke returns. I hope he comes back. Yeah. You know, in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but hopefully he returns, or maybe some form of him. You know, who knows what it's going to be this time.
We've been going at this since, you know, we did Jimmy Craft during Blood games, because we only had one guy working on the game stuff in the meantime. So Jimmy Craft was like, he like made our save system work by making Jimmy Craft, and Jimmy Craft was just like a joke that we thought like we weren't even gonna like put it on sale or anything like that. We just wanted like a joke where like Jimmy was able to play like everybody's playing in real life, and then Jimmy's playing on a Steam Deck in first person. Like that was like,
yeah, that shit was great. And playing while everybody's at camp and shit, and he's just sitting there trying to grind.
Yeah, and we wound up that was like a small little project that was going on while we were doing Blood games. I think especially for Fish Tank, people want to, it's a reality show, so people want gossip, people want like, you know, they want little nitty gritty like things to like poke fun at people or to come up with stories. They want to like, and there's no like, since it's like reality TV, whatever, it's hard for there to be a stopping point between like when the show ends and the cameras turn off and like when people are back to being people, you know? And you know, I don't really get it as much, because I think the fact that I was doing like a different character, I wasn't under the same amount of like scrutiny or whatever that's like someone who was a contestant. I actually like, I'm lucky in that regard. But I think for people that are like just genuine in themselves, they wind up being put under a microscope, and it's like, you know, it's part of the game. It's part of the art form. You know, it's all fun and games when they're getting TTS'd and they're, you know, on the show, but it definitely does weigh on you. Like if you don't feel like you've left the show, you know, like it's
oh man, I've talked to them. They said the TTS haunted them.
So yeah, I have a lot of sympathy for them on that. I think it's only gotten better. I think, like, I guess to my original point is it's rough, but the community will eventually align with you if they don't immediately. And I think they'll also be very supportive of you. I've gotten nothing but positive comments. People reached out, and, you know, like people that I had no idea would even be watching Fish Tank, like reached out to me, and like I'm like, oh my god, like I'm super appreciative. And like I said, like I haven't watched Blood games. I try not to dwell on it. Like talking to you is like a fun trip down memory lane. Like I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure.
But I definitely want to like ensure that, you know, I'm making something good and like now, you know what I mean? Like, and we're working on something important now, and I'm not like just like, oh, remember that time I did that one thing, and it's like
exactly. These are moments in time that are going to stick with us through our like careers and pursuits that we can look back and be like, man, I've progressed since that point, you know. So that's a wonderful thing there. If you could see anyone in a future Blood Games cast or team, whether it be on production or especially as one of the fish, who would you like to see in a future Blood Games?
Oof, I want to see Cole. I'd love to see Cole.
Yeah.
If he is feeling up to it and he wants to come back on, I think that he would be spectacular. I think that it was a great misfortune that he was not able to be a part of it. So I hope he comes around.
Yeah, his Boy Scout skills would come in handy, right?
Absolutely.
He definitely seems like someone with Scouts knowledge, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
he knows how to do a fire or something like that, you know?
Yeah. Him and Jimmy would have been a really good combo, I think, in that scenario.
Yeah, man, I would have liked to see him interact with any of these cast members, like again with season 2 people, talking with Brian and Jimmy again, but to see him actually like converse, because Vance was always on cameras in season 2, so to see them two interact, as well as seeing Cole interact with Ty, I feel like would have been clip worthy so fucking much.
Blood Games was like all about fun, and it was all about like making sure that like, yes, people were pushed to their limits sometimes, but like it was always under the air of like, this is not a torture show, we're like role playing and we're being like like,
yeah, the best strength that Blood Games had was the challenge was right in front of you. Now, of course, you have that mystery with Fish Tank, like what are they going to have to do, what's going to happen, but Blood Games had that too, because y'all would tell them, get ready, tonight's a challenge, and they would have to sit at camp and they'd be talking about what the fuck was going down, and you as the viewer, you had that even more anticipation because they're around a fire, it's nighttime, you hear the crickets, so it's like y'all are at camp, and you're watching the other camp members be like, bro, how are they about to fuck with us? And it was very immersive, you know.
Yeah, it was great to be able to tell a story, even if it's like the story doesn't matter, but it's the fact that like they're dealing with stuff, there's like, it's kind of real because they'll get pissed off. It's kind of like people are actually running at you, they're hitting you with swords, they're fucking bothering you, but then also like it's like, oh, you have to get the scepter, the staff of worms, you have to do this, and then you have to steal it from Xavier, and it's like really
the blood root.
It's yeah, it's so dumb, and it's like that kind of stuff will always cut the tension and remind everybody that like we're playing, you know what I mean? It's like, and it keeps it fun, and I think I would agree with you that like it's the 2.5 or Blood Games is as good as, you know, season 1 or in the sense that like everybody was bringing a good energy to it. I think everybody was enjoying it, and you know, the lows were never like so low that people were just like tuning out,
right?
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, it was a fucking phenomenal time, bro.
Other people that are inspiring to me as artists that are just very good at what they do, gotta say, Big Flame is a creative genius. I talk to him a lot about this stuff. I see he'll just pull out, you know, some like he always knows how to, whether it be visuals or audio, he knows exactly what he's doing. He's like a savant. He's very, very good. And Glass Cake, I don't know if you've heard of Glass Cake, but Glass Cake is an animator that has worked on, you know, he's made YouTube videos as a YouTuber, but he's also worked on Adult Swim and, you know, Cartoon Network and stuff like that. Damn. He's very, very talented. He's a very funny guy, and, you know, he's one of those YouTubers that I feel like doesn't get enough love. So definitely shout out Glass Cake, shout out Big Flame. He's been doing Zip for the majority of the last year or two, and it's been just being able to watch him get stuff done and see this product kind of come to fruition has been really, really cool.
Yeah, he created the formula, right?
Yeah. Well, he developed the product and is now making sure that it's, you know, releasing, and it is like fantastic. I drank it a few times now, and it's one of those drinks where like I want like 6 cans of it.
Hell yeah.
You know, and it's like I want like an ignorant amount to drink in one session. But yeah, shout out to Big, shout out to Glass Cake. Those are good guys.
Hell yeah.
Good guys.
Any other like streamers or tubers that you've been into or watched over the time?
You know, I I watch a lot of slop right now.
Yeah.
And I watch like weird like lore videos, and I don't really even know the names of the channels. Oh, one channel that actually is really good is you ever watch the Vile Eye?
Never heard of it. What is it? What do they
It's this guy that he has like a series called Analyzing Evil, and it's like he just talks about like the psychology behind like villains and stuff in media.
Ooh, I like
And
it.
it's pretty good. He's like long form content, but it's like one of those things where like if I need to like just like turn my brain off and watch something, or like, you know, like start winding down to go to bed.
So any future plans or projects that you want to let everybody know about? Maybe give us a little bit of sneak peek on?
I'll just say that Fish Tank Reality TV Simulator is the project that I've been working on for about a year with my team, and it is going to be every bit as much of the fish tank experience that one can pack into a game. It's its own experience. It's going to feel like the show, and we're really excited to get it in your guys' hands and play it. Hopefully we throw a couple sneak peeks in here.
You know, there's a lot of streams nowadays, but there's nothing quite like Fishtank.Live. Fishtank.Live is a scuffed reality show made by the internet notorious Sam Hyde. When I first saw this show, it was like nothing I'd ever seen before. And even better, now they have a video game out. It's the Fishtank.Live Reality Show Simulator. You're the hit producer of a live stream reality show, and it's up to you to make sure your talent delivers the best possible content for the audience. But there's a catch. The audience can send TTS to mess with the fish and throw them off their game, and even make the fish totally crash out. It's not easy running a 24/7 reality show that's live streamed to the world, but this is a whole new level of putting yourself in the production's shoes. Buy beer for the fish and get them hype, and maybe even let them yap your ears off, all to make sure the house doesn't go completely to shit. And no scat play, please. And on top of that, make sure you don't go completely f***ing insane yourself. Your sanity meter is constantly being drained, and if you don't chug an energy drink or get some zip in you quick, you'll see red and the audience will bail. Then show's over, and it's back to gooning in your parents' basement. So if you want to keep living in a basement of your own, you better give the people a great season. It's a damn good time, and I'd rate the game 5 out of 5 Virgils. Now back to the Rez TKF podcast.
Half of our religion is just tricking God.
I would have to say that this game is definitely a 5 out of 5 Virgils, and pretty much the best game ever. If they don't make a new Fishtank.Live video game or continue Fish Tank, I'm pretty much gonna just stop gaming altogether. Any other projects or anything in the works that you've been on that's been occupying your time?
No, it's just been this. It's been me and my guys been working straight up on this, and we have been firing on all cylinders.
Hell yeah.
So I hope when it gets into everybody's hands, they get to enjoy it.
And I know they definitely will, because everybody really loved Jimmy Craft, brother. We definitely appreciate you putting in that work too, man, because I know it ain't easy. I know it ain't easy. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. It's been an amazing show. Mike Goblin, I do appreciate you being on, brother. It has been amazing talking to you and getting to know you. We cannot wait to see you in a lot more Fish Tank All-Stars, Bloodgames. It's going to be amazing. The first season was phenomenal, and I have no doubt that they're going to go harder. It's going to be even better. But one thing that we definitely need in there is more Goblin as well.
We'll see if he wants to join.
How about it? Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Again, this has been an amazing episode. Be sure to follow Mike the Goblin on all his social media. We're going to have it on the screen down below and in the description. And be sure to check out Fishtank.Live. Fishtank.Live All-Stars Blood Games. It's a 24/7 live stream reality show where you, as the viewer, hold a lot more power than you think. You can mess with the contestants. You can mess with the fish. You can literally shape the way the show goes. So not only is it a form of entertainment that you can enjoy, it's something that you can actually be a part of. Available on Steam, and be sure to get that. Put that on your wish list, and it's just going to get you that much more closer to this experience of Fishtank.Live. Thank you so much, Mike. It's been a pleasure talking to you, brother. I really appreciate you, and you have a wonderful night, man.
You too, brother. Thank you so much.
So it's about that time, everyone. Season 4 of Fish Tank may have ended in a way we didn't expect, but sometimes we need endings. They teach us the importance of what we put into a project, and gives us a push to move on to bigger and better things. That being said, this has been a wild ride, and after more than 2 years of doing the Rez TKF podcast, this is the final broadcast. There's going to be a lot of changes down the road, but it's been a lot of fun, and I'd like to thank each and every one of you who made this journey with me, and hopefully, I've left you with some good memories. So until we meet again, stay gold.